You know, it's funny, I started studying psychopaths really to figure out my old man. My old man was a market trader. He didn't work in the stock market. He was a bit like Del Boy. He worked on the street. He was selling all kinds of, crap to anybody. He was one of the most persuasive men I'd ever met. He could sell shaving cream to the Taliban, this guy. He really, really could. And he was ruthless, he was fearless, he was charming. He wasn't naturally violent, but of course you don't need to be violent to be a psychopath. And I never once saw him embarrassed, never ever once. And I'll give you a good story which kind of sums up me old man. I always remember I was about 9 or 10. And I used to help him on the market stall all over London. And we'd finished on a Saturday. And he took me for an Indian meal in a local restaurant. And we were sitting in the restaurant, and just as he was about to pay the bill, he suddenly picks up a spoon and tinkles it against his glass. At which point, all the restaurant goes quiet. My old man gets to his feet and he says, thank you folks for coming. I'd just like to let you know that you're all equally welcome here. And it's nice to see. I know some of you can come from a long way away and some of you can come just round the corner. But wonderful to see you all. Oh, and there's a little party occurring in the King's Arms pub just across the road. And it would be great to see you there. At which point, my old man starts to clap. At which point, the entire restaurant starts to clap. So what we got here, we've got a restaurant that haven't seen us before, haven't seen each other before, all applauding wildly because they didn't want to be seen as the gate crashers to the party. That was the genius behind it. So remember, I'm only about 9 or 10. We're walking out of the restaurant and I say to my old man, I said, Dad, we're not really going to the pub, are we? And he goes, no, of course we're not, son, but let me tell you something. That lot in the restaurant are my mate Malcolm. He's just taken over as landlord. He'll make a few quid tonight. Now, that is the kind of thing my old man would do without batting an eye, without flinching. Can you imagine how much money I would have to pay you to even think about getting up and doing that? And that really was one of the reasons, once I started psychology, that I started getting into studying it forensically. Because I always had suspicions about me dad. He was never got into anything too criminal. But I often wondered what made him tick, what was his personality. And I've no doubt whatsoever now that he would have been very high on the psychopathic spectrum. God bless him.